and I have been together since the beginning of time, so it seems. Bessie is my little sister, only she's not so little. Bessie is 101 years old. I'm 103. Now, people always say they like to live to be 100, but no one really expects to, except Bessie. She always says she planned to be old as Moses. And when Bessie says she's going to do something, she does it. Now, neither one of us has ever been married, and we have lived together most of our lives. Why, we probably know each other better than any two people on this earth. After so long, we are in many ways like one person.
How do you do? I'm Dr. Delaney. Make yourself comfortable. Stay as long as you like. We won't charge you rent. Truth is, I never thought I'd see the day when people would be interested in what two old Negro women have to say. Life still surprises me. Maybe the last laugh is on me.
So you want to talk with us? Are you sure? Well, if you think it helps somebody, then it's worth doing. That's what Mama always said.
I have prayer. Lord, send us someone new. Everybody we know is dead. Or boring us to death.
Lord, send us someone new. And then you knocked on the door. Have some tea. Go on. You know, Bessie and I were in the helping professions. She was a dentist and I was a high school teacher.
So we're not rich, but we get by.
Papa always said, with every dollar earned, the first 10 cents goes to the Lord, and the second 10 cents
Goes in the bank for hard time.
Now, and the rest is yours to spend, but spend it wisely. And it's a good thing we listen, because we are living on that hard time money now. And not doing too badly. We the ladies have had everything except money. I remember Bessie and me and Julia,
Our little sister.
made a circle around Papa and said, Papa, we are going to squeeze a nickel out of you. And he laughed and said, go ahead and try, daughters, but there's no nickel here.
Our Papa was one of the finest men you could find in America, or anywhere for that matter.
Remember, he would teach us the names of all the planets and stars.
Our Papa knew them all. He was so excited when Halley's Comet came by.
He had us all out that night. Oh, it was a sight to see that flickering light across the landscape. I remember Papa saying, I don't think any of us will be here to see Halley's Comet the next time it comes round.
Wrong about that.
Yes, we was. We have lived in New York for the last 75 years, but Raleigh will always be home.
Raleigh is where Mom and Papa.
You want me to tell you a story? Well, when I was 15 years old, I was kidnapped by the Shawnee Indians. Now, I didn't try to run away. There wasn't nowhere to run to. See, back then, being black meant that anybody could just grab you, say you was a runaway slave, sell you down the cotton country, do with you whatever they wanted to do. So I figured I was better off with them Indians than being sold down the cotton country. Now, the Shawnee were a restless bunch. They wound up in Detroit, where they sold me to a man named Isaac Williams. He was one of them speculators, went around buying and selling black folks. And that man sold me to a man named Amory. No, not Amory. A man named Antoine LaSalle. Now, he was in the fur trade business. Antoine LaSalle finally wound up in a place called Vincennes, Indiana Territory. But now, shortly after Antoine bought me, about a year or so, my little Polly was born. We all wound up in Vincennes. And when my Polly was about 5 years old, I was taking this dress that I had ironed upstairs to Miss Antoine. She was seated at her dressing table, combing her hair and painting up her face. As I approached the room, I overheard her talking to Mr. Antoine. It's bad enough that I have to be in the presence of that Jenny. Must I constantly be reminded of her indiscretions too? I want that Polly out of my house. Oh, her mama get over it. Them kind of just like animals. They don't form no lasting attachment. Take her to Joseph Barone. I heard his wife say just the other day that she needed a chambermaid. I waited a few seconds before I entered. I didn't want her to know that I'd been listening. I didn't even look at her. I just handed her the dress and left the room. But I kept hearing them words, just like animals. Don't form no lasting attachments. Don't form no lasting attachments. Don't form no lasting attachments. Then it happened 3 days later. They took my Polly and they leased her to a man named Joseph Barone. Now, Mr. Antoine told me that I could visit her, but she wouldn't be staying at his house no more. I went to see Polly as often as Miss Antoine allowed, and that wasn't very often. And every time I went to see her, she would say, Mama, I don't want to stay here. I want to go with you. Please, Mama. But I couldn't take her with me. And then little James was born. And when little James was about 4 years old, he slipped into Miss Antoine's parlor. I had told that child to never go in that room. But he slipped in there, and he was looking at a picture book. Now,
Ye who have laid your love to rest and wept above their lifeless clay, you know not the anguish of that breast whose love was rudely torn away, sold on the auction block, babies snatched from their mother's breast, mothers separated from their children, husband from wives, sisters and brothers separated, never to see each other again.
Well now, I didn't hear nobody coming through them church doors. Mighty quiet bunch y'all are. Mighty quiet. Quietest church mice, I'd say. Yes, indeed. Sneaked on up in here just as quiet. Caught me sitting here putting my Sunday school lesson together for Sunday morning. Meditating back on my life. Oh my goodness. Pardon my poorly manners. Didn't even tell you who I was. Mary's the name. Mary Bateman Clark. Mary Bateman Clark, wife of Brother Samuel. Me and my husband Samuel, part of the beginnings of this here church. The Bethel AME Church of Vincennes, Indiana. That's where y'all are.
For me, there was the pleasure of knowing that not only was all of this history a part of our lives and part of our history, but that we had the power to bring that history to life today.
I grew up in a household with a father who left the Knox County area and never went back. So we only had stories from him about life in Vincennes and family in Vincennes, and he did grow up there. So did his father, and so did his father's father, and so did his father's father's father. So down through the line was passed this story about a matriarch of the family who was this feisty woman who filed a lawsuit, and that was all I knew about her. Didn't really know anything more. I knew she was a clerk. I knew her name was May or Mary or something like that. And that was the start of what would become 30 years of research.
It's about pride and dignity. One reason I wasn't going to be no slave. No slave, no kind of way whatsoever. Peoples ain't supposed to own and sell other peoples like so much cattle and such.